Module 4, Lesson 2, Multiplying Decimals, Guided Notes. The area model below represents two multiplication problems. Example A, 2.7 times 1.4. So the one that has been completed for us, this one right here, is example A. So it has broken the area model into 1.0 and 0.4, and then 2.0 and 0.7. It then did 2 times 1 and got 2, and then 2 times 0.4 and got 0.8, and then 1 times 0.7 and got 0.7, and then 0.7 times 0.4, which was 0.28. Now to find the answer, we are going to add all of those together. So 2.0 plus 0.8 plus 0.7 plus 0.28. I'm going to start by doing 2.0 plus 0.8, which is equal to 2.8. So that combined is 2.8. Now I'm going to do 0.7 plus 0.28. I'm going to start by lining it up. So 0.28 plus 0.7. And I threw on that extra 0 there to make it easier. So 8 plus 0 is 8. 2 plus 7 is 9. 0 plus 0 is 0. So those two together is equal to 0.98. So my last step is I need to add 2.8 and 0.98. So I'm going to have 2.8 and then 0.98, and I'm going to throw that 0 up top. 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 plus 9 is 17. Put the decimal, carry the 1. 2 plus 0 is 2. Plus 1 is 3. So our total area is 3.78. Example B is 0.5 times 2.5. So it has broken it up for us. So we have 0.5 and then 2 and then 0.5 again. So now I need to find the inside squares here. So 0.5 times 2. So I know that half of 2 is 1. So this area right here is 1. And now I have 0.5 and 0.5. And in order to get this area here, I'm simply going to do 5 times 5, which is 25. So my answer is 0.25. Now all that's left to do is take my 1.0 and add that to 0.25. 5 plus 0 is 5. 0 plus 2 is 2. Put my decimal. 1 plus 0 is 1. So my answer is 1.25. Now, while the area models are great, they are a bit time consuming. So now let's talk about the normal algorithm that we are going to be using. So the first step, multiply the digits as usual, and we are going to ignore the decimal point. There's no need to line up the decimal if we are setting up vertically. So again, we are going to just ignore the decimal. Then the product will have the same number of digits to the right of or behind the decimal as the multiplicand and the multiplier combined. And you are going to understand that a bit better here in a second. So these first four problems, we're not going to actually multiply. We are just going to talk about how many digits behind the decimal there are. So our first problem is 46.7 times 16. So we're going to look at 46.7 first, and we're going to just look at how many digits are behind the decimal. And there is one digit behind the decimal. Now we're going to look at 16. 16 is a whole number, and there are no numbers behind that invisible decimal. So that has 0. So our combined total is 1 plus 0, which is 1. So in this problem, there's only one digit behind the decimal. Next, we have 1.58 times 0.23. So we're going to look at 1.58 first. We're going to see how many digits are behind that decimal, and there are 2. Now we're going to look at 0.23, how many digits are behind that decimal, and there are 2. Now to find out our total, we're going to do 2 plus 2, so there are a total of 4 digits in this one. All right, third one, we have 0.07 times 432. So we're going to first look at 0.07, so how many digits are there? There are 2. Now we have 432, and that's a whole number. There's no decimal there, so there's no digits behind it. So that's just 0. Our total, 2 plus 0, which is 2. All right, in our last one, we have 0.9 times 8.55. So we're first going to look at 0.9, and there are 1 digit. And then we have 8.55, and there are 2. So our total number of digits is 1 plus 2, which is 3. To help us check our answer, we can use estimation, and this is just going to help us check for reasonableness. So let's practice estimating our answers. So the first question we have is 1.9 times 6, and they have told us the actual answer is 11.4. So when we are checking for reasonableness, when we are estimating our answers, we are going to be rounding to the nearest whole number. So 1.9 is going to be turned into 2, and then 6 stays 6. So the answer is 2 times 6, which is 12. And 12 is pretty close to 11.4, so we know that our answer is reasonable. It should be correct. All right, so let's practice. So we have 0.94 times 5. So remember, we need to be rounding to the nearest whole number. So 0.94 is going to turn into 1. 5 would stay 5, and 1 times 5 is 5. So our actual answer was 4.7, and our estimated answer was 5, and that is pretty close. So I would say that was correct. All right, let's practice this one more time. So again, when we are estimating, we are rounding to the nearest whole number. So 5.7 is going to become 6. 11 stays 11. 6 times 11 is 66, and our actual answer was 62.7, and our estimated answer was pretty close. So when we get bigger numbers like this, it's not going to be always super duper close, like the last two examples, but 62.7 is still pretty close to 66, so we know our answer is correct. All right, so now let's practice actually multiplying with decimals. So our first question is 6.8 times 3. So remember, when we are multiplying with decimals, we ignore the decimal. So I'm simply just going to have 68 times 3, and we multiply going from right to left. So 8 times 3 is 24. I'm going to put down my 4, carry my 2, 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 is 20. Now 204 is not our answer, and this is a step students most often forget, and that is the fact that we need to go back in and put our decimal in. So we know that 6.8 has one decimal, 3 has 0, so there's a total of one decimal. So we have our invisible decimal here at the end of 204, and we're going to move that decimal one spot to the left. So our actual answer should be 20.4. All right, this time we have 15 times 0.7. So we're going to ignore that decimal, so we're just going to have 15. Now, because this 0 is before the decimal, and there's nothing else in front of the 0, I'm going to go ahead and say that's not important. So we're just going to have 15 times 7. So 7 times 5 is 35. Put down my 5, carry my 3. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10. Now we need to go back in and add our decimal. 15 has no digits. 0.7 has 1. So there's a total of 1 digit. So we're going to move our decimal one place to the left for a total of 10.5. All right, last one using our boxes here. So we have 0.4 times 5. Again, this 0, because there's nothing in front of it, not super important. So I'm just simply going to have 41 times 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 4 is 20. Now I'm going to have to go back in and put in my decimal. So we have 0.41, which has two decimals, two digits, and then 5, which has 0. So we have a total of 2 digits. So I'm going to move that invisible decimal 1, 2 places to the left for a total of 2.05. All right, so now we're going to practice some more, but this time there's no boxes and they're not already lined up for us. So first question is 20.8 times 9. So remember, we ignore that decimal, so we're simply just going to have 208 times 9. And now I can go ahead and multiply like normal. 9 times 8 is 72, so put down my 2, carry my 7. 9 times 0 is 0, plus 7 is 7. 9 times 2 is 18. Now the answer isn't 1,872. We need to remember to go back in and put in our decimal. So 20.8 has one digit, 9 has 0, so there's a total of one digit. So I'm going to move our decimal one place to the left. So our answer should be 187.2. Our next question, we have 7.19 times 2.2. So ignoring our decimal, I'm going to have 719 times 22. 2 times 9 is 18. Put down my 8, carry my 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, and 2 times 7 is 14. Now I'm going to put my 0 there as my placeholder, and we're going to move on to the next two. 2 times 9 is 18. Put down my 8, carry my 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, and then 2 times 7 is 14. And now I add that together. 8 plus 0 is 8. 3 plus 8 is 11. Put down 1. Carry the 1. 4 plus 3 is 7. Plus 1 is 8. 1 plus 4 is 5. And 1 plus nothing is 1. Now the answer isn't 15,818. We need to remember to go back in and put in our decimal. So in 0.19 we have 2 digits. In 2.2 we have 1. So we have a total of 3 digits. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 hops to the left. So our actual answer is 15.818. All right, this time we have 115.3 times 0.5. So ignoring our decimals, we're going to have 1,153, and that 0, not important to us, times 5. So 5 times 3 is 15. Put down my 5, carry my 1. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 1 is 26. Put down 6, carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7, and 5 times 1 is 5. Now our answer isn't 5,765. We got to go back in and put in our decimal. So in 115.3, there was one digit. In 0.5, there's one digit. So I need to move my decimal 2 places to the left. So our answer is 57.65. Now we're going to move on to a couple story problems. So Amber walks her golden retriever 1.87 miles after work each day. If she works 5 days a week, how many miles does Amber walk her golden retriever in 1 week? So when we are approaching story problems, the first thing we want to do is underline or highlight or circle our question. So I'm going to go ahead and underline how many miles does Amber walk her golden retriever in 1 week. Now that we know what the question is, I know what numbers we need. So I know that we need 1.87 miles and 5 days. In order to find that answer, I'm going to multiply. Ignoring our decimal, we're going to have 187 times 5. So 5 times 7 is 35. Put down my 5, carry my 3. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 3 is 43. Put down 3, carry the 4. And 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. Now, she didn't walk her dog 935 miles. That makes absolutely no sense based on the fact that we know she almost walked 2 miles and only walked for 5 days. So 935 makes absolutely no sense. So we need to go back in and put in our decimal. 1.87 has 2 digits, 5 has 0. So I'm going to move it 2 places to the left. So she walked her dog 9.35 miles in 5 days. Our next question. Fiji apples are priced at $1.79 per pound. If Hayden purchases 3.45 pounds of apples, what will the total price of his purchase be? Round to the nearest cent. So I'm going to underline our question. What will the total price of his purchase be? And I'm going to circle our numbers, $1.79 and 3.45. And now I'm going to multiply. Ignoring our decimals, we're going to have 179 times 345. And now I'm going to go ahead and start multiplying. So 9 times 5 is 45. Put down my 5, carry my 4. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 4 is 39. Put down the 9, carry the 3. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. Now I'm going to put a 0 under the 5, and we're going to do it again with the 4s. 4 times 9 is 36, so I'm going to put down 6, carry my 3. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 3 is 31, put down 1, carry the 3. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. This time I'm going to put down a 0 under that 5, but then I'm also going to put down a 0 under that 9 and that's 6. And now we're at the 3s. So 3 times 9 is 27, put down 7, carry the 2. 3 times 7 is 21, plus 2 is 23, put down 3, carry the 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. And I'm going to add that all together. So 5 plus 0 is 5. 9 plus 6 plus 0. So 9 plus 6 is 15. Put down the 5, carry the 1. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 7 is 16, plus 1 is 17. Put down 7, carry the 1. 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Put down 1, carry the 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. Now, our answer is 61,755. And I don't know about you, but I think that's a little ridiculous to be paying for Fiji apples. So we need to remember to go ahead and put in our decimals again. So 1.79 has 2 digits. 3.45 has 2 digits. So I'm going to move our decimal 4 places to the left. So now our answer is 6.1755. But it told us to round to the nearest cent. So we're going to have 6.1, and then we're going to round the 7, and because this is a 5, we're going to round up, so that becomes an 8. So he spent $16.18 on apples. All right, our last question. Cindy and Jorge solved the problems as shown. Who made a mistake and what should the correct solution be? So the only way we can do this is by solving the questions. So we're going to start with Sydney, whose question was 62.8 times 3.7. So I'm going to line that up. So 628, ignore my decimals, times 37. Now I multiply. 7 times 8 is 56, put down 6, carry the 5. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 5 is 19, put down 9, carry the 1. 7 times 6 is 42, plus 1 is 43. Put my 0. 3 times 8 is 24, put down 4, carry the 2. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. 3 times 6 is 18, and then I'm going to add. 6 plus 0 is 6, 9 plus 4 is 13, put down 3, carry the 1. 3 plus 8 is 11, plus 1 is 12, put down 2, carry the 1. 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13, put down 3, carry the 1, and then 1 plus 1 is 2. And now we need to go back in and put in our decimals. So 62.8 has one digit, 3.7 has one, so I need to move the decimal 1, 2 places to the left, so her answer should be 232.36. So Sydney is the one who made the mistake. And because it said who made a mistake, we know that only one of them made a mistake. So we know that Jorge, by default, is correct. All right, now go ahead and take a minute to summarize what you learned in today's lesson.